gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Catharsis here on the Full Circle Radio Network. I'm your host for this, your producer, Joseph J. Alexander. People that know me well call me JJ. If you're new to the show, glad you're here. If you're returning, double glad you're here. I know it's been a while. Usually looks a little different. It's late night currently. It's the very ending hours of June 5th, 2025. As I'm recording this, you'll probably be seeing this on June 6th, sometime during the day when it hits to premiere. I'm staying a little subdued right now. The wife is asleep in the other room. The puppy is also asleep in the other room. I'm dealing with a tad bit of insomnia, and I had promised that I was going to have one of these come out this week, so I'm honoring my promises. I know it's been a while since there's been an episode of Catharsis. There's been a few reasons for that. One is, first and foremost is there's so many things going on in the broader world, let alone my local milieu, that it's just so hard to keep up with everything. And the moment, like, one, start getting worked up about something else comes. So I've just been channeling my energy into my garden. It's early June. Stuff is sprouting. Things are flowering. It's soothing, and it helps. This show was meant to be literally a catharsis. It was supposed to be a vent. It was supposed to be a sounding board. It was a soapbox, and it still is. Because some things just can't get ignored. No matter how much time I spend digging in the dirt, weeding, pruning, fertilizing, sometimes you just gotta hit record. That's why I'm here. I don't know how long this episode will be. I don't have a lot to cover, but we'll see how it goes. First off, I'd like to pay the bills and let you know this episode of Catharsis is sponsored by nothing. While we do have sponsorships on other programs here on the Full Circle Radio Network, this is mine and mine alone, and my personal beliefs and my morals cannot be bought. So you will never see a sponsorship on this. Everything else, White Heat, Wildcard Cinema, Brass Tacks, you can see sponsorships on there, not on here. And that's also a preface because some things I have to talk about tonight involve local businesses. And I am letting you know that I'm not getting paid by anyone for my views. These are my views and mine alone. So, for those of you returning, you know that the past 4 episodes of Catharsis have all revolved around the same situation. And unfortunately, this is part 5. At the end of this episode, where you see the little, the channel and the playlist, there will be 2 playlists. There will be the full Catharsis and the Bristol, Connecticut Saga episodes of Catharsis. Because that's where we're at. Because, well, some people can't leave well enough alone. Now, mind you, had some small victories since we last spoke. I'll get to that in a minute, though, because, like I said, it's scatterbrained. One of the other reasons why it's been a while since I've done one of these is because I've been dealing with some health issues. Not from what I usually deal with. My health is actually getting quite better. I've been doing well. My doctors are happy with me. I'm swimming the laps a few days a week. I'm going to the gym a couple of days a week and lifting. I'm getting my cardio back up. I'm feeling human again, which is a wonderful thing. But unfortunately, about a week ago, I woke up and was damn near completely blind. And I talked about it a little bit if you watch White Heat, but if you're new here, you don't even know, and if you're not a wrestling fan, you don't watch that. That's fine. But yeah, it was like there was a thick black veil in front of my eyes and I couldn't see. And I've been dealing with some retinal issues for a little under a year, and they really hadn't been that bad. But this was bad. And I called my doctor and I got in the next morning. And unfortunately, this is what my retinas look like. Both bleeding heavily. Certain info there has been redacted for HIPAA reasons. But that is what my eyes looked like. So I had to get injections in both my eyes to help dissipate the blood, which is still a work in progress. It's been a week now, and I can't completely see. So I'm doing this very carefully. A lot of the stuff that I'm seeing here, I've had to enlarge the font to see. So bear with me on some of the things that I have to share during the course of this episode and my reading, because it takes a lot to focus. So my apologies ahead of time on that. But that out of the way. As I said, a couple small victories. If you recall, there was a page that was targeting me and a few other people in the city. And I reported some of their content for targeted harassment, for hate speech, and some of their content got taken down. So that's a small victory for me. They changed the name of their page. Their page is no longer called Unstable Bristol Democrats, because they fell flat on their face on that. Of course, they're still doing things on there, and it's still the same group of idiots who are behind it, which include our mayor and his brother, and a couple other people with sock accounts. There's going to be talk of a lot of sock accounts tonight, because apparently people still think they're slick, and they're not. So I was going to be speaking about one particular thing on this episode, no matter what had happened, because it needs to happen every year. However, before I get to that, I have to deal with a series of bullshit and lies and dick measuring being done by our infernal mayor fuckbuckle. Now, you see, everyone who's on the city council, everyone who's in the general sphere, knows that he doesn't even want to be mayor, but he does it for attention, much like someone else in office who doesn't know what they're doing, but loves being in front of the camera and hearing himself speak. Now, all he does is complain about the pay cut he had to take. He doesn't want to do this, but at the same time, it's got power, and he acts like a fucking mob boss. Literal quote I have heard from several people who work in City Hall. He acts like a mob boss. He thinks he's a mob boss, which is pathetic. So, a couple of new businesses have opened up in town. One of them I was highly anticipating. One, because it's very, very close to my house. 2, because they're open late, and sometimes, it's great to have a late takeout option that's not awful processed fast food. Because sometimes it happens, running late, just don't have time or just don't have the energy. It happens. So there's a now some people say, well, it's a chain too. It's a family chain. There's only a few locations, and it's a family owned chain, which you see nowadays. And it's it's not like an Applebee's or a Denny's or something like that. It's a much smaller scale. But there's a place that opened up near me, Shah's Halal Food, which I was extremely happy about, because there was one in Middletown that we enjoy, and second we heard we were getting one in town, we're like, hell yes. And we anxiously waited for them to open. And when we found out opening day was coming, we were there on opening day. We were there on opening day. And then I thought to myself, hey. So this is Middle Eastern food being run by brown people. I wonder how long it's going to take before Mayor Fuckbuckle actually does his little ribbon cutting / look at me photo op in front of the business. Because he does that he's literally done that for businesses that never opened in this city. I believe I spoke about it back at the beginning of this series at one point, where there was supposed to be a place opening up literally July of 2023. Oh, they're going to open in like a month or so. This is going to be their headquarters, yada, yada, yada. They never fucking opened. Meanwhile, across the street, there was a Middle Eastern gentleman who bought and renovated a shuttered 7-Eleven and made it a local family convenience store. And the mayor didn't do shit. And he didn't go there to acknowledge them until after the election, which was months upon months later, like probably almost a year. Why? Because he's a fucking bigot. And he doesn't want his base of white supremacists and bigots and racists and homophobes to know that he supports a business run by those people. Once again, that was a business. I was there on the first day he was open. I was out for a ride on the bike, wanted to stop. He was open late, stopped in, grabbed the drink, said, welcome to the neighborhood. Glad to see you here. When he had his 1-year anniversary, I was there that day. I stopped at the produce market up the street, said, hell yeah, he's having his 1-year anniversary. Stopped in. Good to see you. Congratulations on 1 year. It's a rough business. I'm thankful you're still here. So anyways, sat there and I checked daily. 3 weeks pass. And like I said, bear with me on this. Three weeks pass. And then May 28th at 6:51 a.m. Shaw's is open for business in Bristol on Route 6. Check them out, with a picture of their takeout menu with a takeout plate. Doesn't actually tell you the address. I mean, you can kind of see it there. You can't see the phone number. That's obviously someone else's takeout, not his. To which I made the comment. Only took them being open for 3 weeks for you to acknowledge them. And funny how the Lord of the photo op doesn't have a picture of himself actually at the location. Gee, I wonder why. To which point he responds with a link. And he says, everyone needs to support all the great new Bristol businesses. With an average of 588 a year, I can't physically get to all of them, but I've been there twice now. How about you? Now, number one, before I get to that comment, I'm going to show you this link. That link goes to the Bristol All Heart Instagram page, which a lot of people don't know exists. Bristol All Heart is basically a sock account for Bristol stuff that they don't want to actually feature on the mayor's page. And so here we go with a slideshow coming soon. That's the sign on their door. Oh, there's a picture of him with the orders. Oh, point at the sign. It's WrestleMania. Point at the sign. May 8th, 6 likes. You know why? You know why? Because Bristol All Heart has 2,000 followers, if that, and they don't advertise their shit. So, sorry for that little glitch there. He never shared it on the mayor's page right away. He shared it on the All Heart page and was going to leave it as that because, well, that's, that's how they do it. They focus on this whole thing where they think that everything needs to just be done on Facebook, and they think that Facebook is the end all be all. And I've spoken about that before. And well, not the case, but it's sneaky little things like that. Just like how I've had to mention to people before, how sometimes he'll go and he'll make comments, and the thing is they'll go and they'll try to boost certain things by liking it with other pages. So what happens is, this is the guy who has access to his personal Facebook, his CAG for Bristol campaign page, the mayor's office page, the Bristol All Heart page, and probably something else too. So it's like sock accounts for official accounts. Like, most people don't follow the Bristol All Heart page because it's a nothing page. And that wasn't even on the Facebook page. It was on the Instagram, which they don't. Most people don't. I didn't even know Bristol All Heart had a fucking page. And I keep up on top of things. But so as far as his little comment of, I've already been there twice. What about you? You tell me. Better yet, you tell me. The shift supervisor there knows me and the wife by name and can tell you my order right away. Chicken and beef combo plate with everything, extra enchilada, add chickpeas, white sauce and green chutney, side of pakora chips. Fuck you. You want to get in a dick measuring contest about local businesses. And that's where I'm going to get to the second part about local businesses. So you see how he mentioned the 588 businesses a year. So he shared something a few weeks ago touting how much business growth has been in Bristol under his lead, yada, yada, yada. But it's a charade. It's a lie. And when people have asked, well, how can I find a list of this? He literally just basically puts forth the Connecticut grand list of search for the name of a business, basically like saying Google it, bitch. And the person actually responded. They're like, that doesn't answer what I said. Like, Yeah, I can search for names on there, but how is it possible? Because it's genuinely not possible. He's basically claiming that every year that he's been in, that almost 600 brick and mortar businesses have opened up in this city, which means since he was inaugurated in 2022. So in the past 3 years, he's basically saying that 1,800 brick and mortar businesses have opened up in this city, which is empirically and logically fucking possible. Especially when you go a minute and a half down the road from me into the village of Forestville. And what do you see? Empty storefronts. All of downtown Forestville is empty. To the fact where the Forestville post office is open 1 hour a day because there's no businesses down there. Or you go down Route 6 and yeah, you see some chain places, but in all of the large plazas, there are empty spaces. You hit downtown Bristol, North Main Street, where the Carrier building is being built and everything, where he promised, oh, it's going to bring businesses back. You see empty storefronts. You see empty old storefronts, and you see this new monstrosity of a building being built with like 4 storefronts below that are still empty. Oh, but there's businesses that promise to move in there. Empty. Industrial parks, empty. We're one of the few places where there's been spots where a fast food restaurant or a fast casual restaurant has been that is shut down and nothing else has moved in there, which is an unheard of thing in this country. Kevin Smith talked about it once when he was looking for a location for Clerks 2. There was literally right on the line across from ESPN, there was a McDonald's that went out of business. When a McDonald's can't survive somewhere, that's a red flag. And the thing was, another fast food company didn't pick it up. It sat there empty. And then like a Mexican restaurant moved in, failed. Another restaurant moved in, failed. Now it's a hub for a third party Amazon driver fucking thing. Like, but he sits here and he claims 588 businesses a year. This is where the lie comes from. I'm going to explain this to you in the simplest terms possible. So you see, what happens is on this magical dossier that he talks about, where, this is how many businesses, this is what happens. And it started during COVID. This is where he started claiming it, because during COVID, when everything was on lockdown, he came out and said, we had 400 and some odd new businesses open up during the pandemic, which shows how much Bristol is thriving. No, that's not what that is. Everyone saw it right then and there for what it was. And unfortunately, people have forgotten. Here's what happened. Every time someone who lives in the city of Bristol joins an MLM, Mary Kay, LuLaRoe, Cutco, all that bullshit, anytime they join as an MLM, that's considered a new business, which we all know isn't, because they're their own boss and an entrepreneur and have to register. It's bullshit. Every time someone opens up an Etsy shop and lives in the city of Bristol, new business. And some people open several Etsy shops in order to play a shell game. I know people that fucking do it. Same thing with Mercari and eBay. And probably another like third-party seller site. What happens is they register as a certified seller on these platforms. That counts as a new business, according to the city of Bristol. One moment. Don't worry, it's just water. So, during COVID, when everyone was locked down, everyone became MLM huns and started Etsy shit and blah, blah, blah. So everyone ran and boom, 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 boom. Look at all these new businesses, not new businesses. Also, every time a doctor transfers their practice to the city of Bristol, every single doctor, even if it's an office with 4 doctors in it that only holds one space, every single doctor counts as a new business. And when the Wheeler Clinic just opened and it has 50, 60 doctors on staff, that's 60 new businesses. No, it's one. It's all one building. Because the property taxes are being paid by one person. Bristol Hospital adds a new annex, new office spaces. Doctors move into those office spaces, new business, new business, new business, new business. It's still Bristol Hospital, but they count it. And then there are the internet. Yes, internet. Every time someone buys a blue check mark on Twitter or gets their YouTube channel monetized or gets their TikTok monetized or their Instagram monetized, it's a new business. So one person could very well shell out the money for a blue check mark and buy some bots on YouTube. Did I say blue check mark on TikTok? I meant blue check mark on Twitter. But Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And you can register your Facebook page now, which I have a friend who has a monetized Facebook page, says she lives in Bristol. She lives in Waterbury. But so there's 4, all one person. So not 4 new businesses. And let me swing back to that in a second. Because then you also have internet speculators as a subgenre to internet purchases. Now what happens is every time someone registers a domain for a website, registers a domain and lives in Bristol, Connecticut, that counts as a new business in Bristol. And there's literally computer shops that register domains for people. So you can go and get a 99-cent domain and it's considered a new business. No, it's not. And all it takes is for someone to buy up a bunch of .com, things in speculation of someone else needing it. Like you can, what happens is some people will go and buy a domain name of something that they think might be worth something. They'll invest the $1 per year or whatever it is, do nothing with it. But what happens is when somewhere else comes along and needs that website, they can sell it to them for however much they want. But until then, they're spending $1 for a domain name with nothing attached to it. For instance, say I want to register, and pure speculation, say I want to register Jeff Caggiano is a giant fucking bigot.com. Oh, look, someone already has that and I want it. Well, I can go to them and buy it off them. But what happens is because they've registered it first, they live in a certain city, it counts as a business in that city. Now, you're saying, well, so technically these are all businesses. Technically on paper, yes. But here's the problem. Because I deal with a lot of independent vendors in part of my life, Here's the thing that some people don't understand about the tax code. People in the MLMs, people who are artisans who make their own stuff, sell on Etsy, or are crafters, things like that. If you do not make more than $6,000 in revenue in a year, you are not obligated to file a federal nor state tax return for that business. Now, take that for a moment and think about all these people, that got suckered into selling fucking Avon and LuLaRoe and all that shit, who ended up underwater and never made a dime, who lost money. That means they never paid taxes on it. And then add on that the internet speculators who spent $1 on a domain. They're not making a profit on it. They're not making anything on it. They're speculating. So they're not paying any taxes on it. So in the grand scheme of things, you can sit there and say 588 businesses. It's not fucking true. It's a fucking lie. It's a ruse. Plain and simple. It's nothing but a ruse. There's your business lesson from Professor J.J. Alexander. Now that we've gotten past that part, now we get to the main part. 30 minutes in. Hope you got something out of that part, because now here comes the part that I was going to be talking about no matter what. Because it's June. For those of you who live in the state of Connecticut, which you may have found me through local thing, through local forums, whether you found me through YouTube or through Spotify, if you found this via Reddit or via Twitter, via Blue Sky, wherever. By the way, links below there. You see, like right under my name here. If you're local in Connecticut, I'll let you know that on Saturday I will be at Middletown Pride in Middletown, Connecticut, downtown Main Street. You'll be able to find me. I mean, I'm kind of recognizable, but I'll be wearing that shirt. I'll be manning the info booth at my church because we're an accepting church. We welcome all. Me, myself, I'm just an ally. I'll tell you about all that. I am none of the letters in the beginning of that. I am just an ally. But I have friends and family from all walks of life who I wouldn't give up for anything in this world. And that's always been the way it's been. I just always grew up having empathy for everyone and believing no one should be shunned for their life. Quick little story. I have a lifelong friend. I mean, we haven't talked in a bit, but because he's out in LA, he is a major influencer in the LGBTQ world. He's a published author. He's appeared on docuseries. If you know the name Matthew Baum, I've known Matt since we were 14 years old. Went to high school together, graduated together. We were in the school's Gay Straight Alliance together. Witnessed him get bullied by some people, and that's during my time where I was extremely angry teenager, and I would fucking throw down. You're gonna fucking bully my friend, well, then I'm gonna fuck you up because you're picking on a man who did nothing to you. And fuck you. And speaking of and fuck you, we get back to Mayor Fuckbuckle. Now, you know that I've mentioned some things in this series about his bigotry when it comes to the LGBTQ world. For a short recap, when he was inaugurated, it was still during the COVID lockdown. And it was done where things had just been opening up and masks were still required. And he was an anti-masker on top of being a fucking bigot. And he broke the rules of separation of church and state. And instead of being inaugurated at City Hall, because there was a mask mandate at City Hall, he got inaugurated at Liberty Baptist Church. And Liberty Baptist Church not only are anti-mask, but are anti-LGBTQ. And they advertise it quite widely. And it was questioned. There was literally news articles. I shared them on past episodes of here to prove that, because they said that I was lying, and I brought receipts, which for some of the things here today, I still have receipts. And they literally said that no LGBTQ people would be allowed in the building for his inauguration unless they denounced their lifestyle. Like, dude, fuck you. That was his first day on the job. First day on the fucking job. Quite a statement. Now, my apologies. I was looking for a link. I can't quite find it because of me not being able to see, basically. Maybe if I type it. That didn't work. I'm an idiot. Boy, am I an idiot. Oh, well, I apologize. I also like, because the fonts are larger so I can see them, I really can't fucking figure out professional resources more. Your shortcuts. Nope, not there. Oh boy, one moment. Okay, sorry about that. I found what I needed, so I could get to it later. So, sorry about that little hiccup. As I mentioned, first thing in office. Now, in, I believe, 2020 or 2021, I don't remember which year it was, the previous mayor, Ellen Zappo-Sasu, who, by the way, is running against Fuckbuckle again this year, rock on, was able to pass legislation. And that was the first year that the pride flag was flown at City Hall. 2020 or 2021, that's not that long ago. Think about all the things, but we had a progressive mayor who had that done. The Bristol Historical Society actually recognized it in their On This Day in History bit, which I had bookmarked at one point. That's one of the things I was looking for. I couldn't exactly find it, so apologies for that. So mind you, this jack-off takes office. Inauguration's in January. March comes. March 7th. Bear with me. This is one of the times I have to read, but I will drop a link to this below. This is a PDF file. It's a docket from the Bristol Department of Public Works. I don't know why it says Microsoft Word. Yeah. Bristol Allhart Memorandum, March 7th, 2022. Mayor Jeffrey Fuckbuckle, Board of Public Works, from Raymond Rogozinski, PE Director of Public Works. Now, this was a bill this was an ordinance that was passed by Fuckbuckle and Rogozinski about city flag flying policy. It basically goes to say, no, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to get down to the thing, but basically it established guidelines about what could be flown at city buildings. Now, mind you, this was something that had just been handled. So this was literally being done in order to undermine what had just been passed. Basically, it basically came to say that the flag, what do you call it? If a flag was going to get flown, it had to be approved by the city council as a majority vote, which it was a Republican city council. So automatically that's a red flag. No pun intended. However, this is where it got interesting. Subsection G. Bear with me as I try to read. A commemorative or organizational flag as defined in the policy shall mean a flag that identifies with a specific historical event, cause, nation, or group of people that the city council chooses to honor or commemorate consistent with the city's mission and priorities. The following are not allowed as commemorative or organizational flags and will not be considered by the city council. A. Flags of a particular religious movement or creed to avoid the appearance of city government endorsing religion or a particular religious movement or creed. B. Flags of a political party to avoid the appearance of city government endorsing a political party. C. Flags advocating a certain outcome in an election to avoid the appearance of city government endorsing an electoral outcome. D. Flags of a commercial organization to avoid the appearance of city government endorsing any particular business. And E. Flags that enable violence, discrimination, prejudice, or racism to avoid the appearance of city government endorsing such actions. Keep in mind about what E said there. Now you see, oh God, my eyes hurt. I'm sorry. So you see, what he did was use that as a platform to claim that flying a pride flag is discriminatory. This is literally a conversation he had with a friend of mine on June 19th of 2024, which was prior referenced on this show, where he had the big blow up and stormed out of the cafe. And then that night went over and gave a half-assed apology while I was sitting right there, didn't say shit to me. I called him out, and then he drunk DM'd me later on like a little bitch, saying that my friend was the bigot. My trans friend who asked why the pride flag isn't being flown. And his claim is, if we let the pride flag get flown, then we have to allow groups like the KKK to fly their flag, which I think that would just be the stars and bars. I don't fucking know. But basically, and it was the roundabout thing about the aberrant racism of the white supremacist flyers and how he never came out and said he denounces white supremacists, yada, yada, yada. And how he said if he loans credence to one, that he has to loan credence to the other, which is the most ass backwards, double speak bullshit. And also the flying the flag of a political thing or whatever victory, which I find completely hilarious considering he's used the Bristol All Heart page and things like that, sock accounts, to say, we're handing out Trump signs. Just send me a DM and I'll put one aside for you. But then we'll claim, oh no, I don't like him. Yeah, you MAGA ass motherfucker. We all know how bigoted you are and how happy you were the moment you heard that DEI wouldn't have to be a thing anymore in this fucking regime. You're a fucking bigot. And just to prove how much of a bigot he is, there's two little bits here, because like I said, I bring receipts. Other reasons why this needs to be spoken about. So, first, let me make sure. Yep. What is this here? Let me pull this up. Like I said, bear with me. So this was an article from Patch from 2022. Bristol Health celebrates Pride Month, says more work needs to be done. Now, this is something that happens each year where Bristol Hospital, that's Bristol Health, will do a pride flag raising in June because they're a private business and they're allowed to. Now, the mayor, on the mayor's page, the mayor's social media, nor on the Bristol All Heart, any of those sock accounts, never acknowledges Pride Month. But he showed up for this. Here's the big problem. Mayor Jeff Fuckbuckle said, coming off of May being Mental Health Awareness Month and June now being Pride Month, access to both physical and mental health care is a great mission we have here with Bristol Health. That is very much a stripped down version of what he said that day. It's paraphrased to the nth degree. What he did say, and I wish the video file was still available, was basically he compared being LGBTQ and being trans and all those things with being mentally ill. And how he said Pride Month being after Mental Health Awareness Month is basically being the same thing. And just completely degraded LGBTQ people in his own backhanded way in this little presser, in this, this little bit where it was a flag raising with like 8 people in attendance because they didn't advertise it. And he didn't even share that he was there on the mayor's page, which is why that year and every year when we mention, gee, why didn't you acknowledge Pride Month? He'll literally say, I was at Bristol Hospital. You just need to Google it, bitch, is basically, is nonsense. So once again, just more proof that he's a bigot. Also, oh, God. I would like to pay your attention to this. And now, mind you, this overlaps a little bit with what I've been speaking about with the old issue with the white supremacist flyers, but it needs to get brought up. This is an article from the Bristol Press from August of 2023. Sorry for the thank you for reading. During a press conference against racism Monday, several speakers took the opportunity to criticize Republican Mayor Jeff Fuckbuckle and his response to the hate group activity in Bristol. Bristol Democratic mayoral candidate at that time, Scott Rosado, argued that when he served on the previous Democrat-held city council, he was proud of how Bristol supported diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, the evil 3 letters now. After the murder of George Floyd, a community conversation was held to make sure that people in our community felt included, he said. We flew flags that signaled that we stood with our community, regardless of their sexual or gender labels. Our opioid task force held a dozen meetings. Our current mayor and city council are not embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion. No flags are flying. Our opioid task force has only met a couple of times, and there are questions about who has replaced who on our boards and commissions. To which point, ckbuckle responded with, "I've already spoken on this," when he actually had never done so, and basically said, "I said that hate has no place in this town," which is the coward's way out when he was asked several times to just say, "I denounce white supremacists," and he refused to. Why? Because that's his fucking base. And because we live in a country now run by a megalomaniacal fucking idiot who shoots down DEI and shoots down LGBTQ people and dehumanizes them. So now there's the Republican Party has mostly been people who just get in lockstep and go, we can be fucking assholes now out in the open. And the person running the city of Bristol is one of those. And it's awful. It's a fucking tragedy. I grew up in this city. Back and forth. Yeah, I spent half my life here. You know, I spent my youth here, went to high school in another town, came back here, bought a house in this city. And every time I look at the people in charge in both City Hall and who represent us on the state level, you know, people like, you know, who we've mentioned before on here, you know, people like, you know, Mr. I Hate Drag Queens, Jeff Hoska, and Big Karen Energy, Judy Bristol, I mean, Cara Pavlak D'Amato, and Jennifer Van Gorder, who is on the fucking Board of Education but doesn't know shit about education and got fucking schooled by our producer, Shell, the day she knocked on her door for campaign support, where Shell said, "Guess what? I work in this area. This is why you're wrong. Sit down. I'm going to put you in your fucking place." And I thank her for it to this day. But the fight is never over. And that's why I have it's a crusade, mind you, that I've been on since he took office and he started shooting down Pride his first day on the job and started dehumanizing LGBTQ people his first day on the job. And it needs to be called out. So I had a bookmark that I need to find. I found it. And this was something I shared last year. It is the month of June. And this is basically a call to action. I'm going to put this up on the screen. You can read along with me. Like I said, I apologize. Because I can't see everything right now. This is an obligatory observation, and I feel the need to share every June. This was from June 4th, 2024. So it was a year and a day ago. Year and a day, bless me. With it being Pride Month, I feel the need to point out how much of a bigot our worthless mayor is. For those unaware, it was his administration that passed the bill no longer allowing the pride flag to be flown at city buildings. This was something that had literally just been granted by the previous administration. On top of that, not once since taking office has he acknowledged Pride Month on the official mayor's office page. The only time he has ever done anything associated with Pride was when he attended a flag raising at Bristol Hospital and then gave a speech associating LGBTQIA with having mental health issues, which I mentioned. As such, I and some others have taken the task of leaving a pride flag emoji, and also we've been leaving the pride and the trans flag emoji in the comments of every post his page makes throughout the month to raise awareness of just how awful of an individual he is. If you are a resident of Bristol or surrounding, if you want, it would be appreciated if you joined in as well. I would also like to add that his minions on the city council are just as bigoted as, and when one of them was asked last year if he would acknowledge pride, he instead made a post about how he was being bullied by the gay community. That individual has since stepped down and was replaced by Mark Dickow, who's actually pretty okay dude. And one last caveat. Be prepared to be harassed by this haggard old twat who goes by the name of Judy Bristol, who we found out was Cara Pavlak D'Amato, who is a bigot in her own right and worships Mayor Fuckbuckle like some sort of golden calf. And, wishing all the homophobes a super uncomfortable month. So, yeah. That's why I had to, come out here and talk about this on this evening. Is because election time's coming up in November. And while I could go into details about the field of electorates right now, that'll be left for another time. But what I will say is this. Ellen Zapo-Sasu was one of the most progressive mayors the city ever had and was a great mayor. And the simple fact that she lost by less than 600 votes because less than 30% of the electorate came out to vote on election day is a crying fucking shame. And how much that Mayor Fuckbuckle has smeared her fucking name, trying to drag her name through the mud because she had a relative who was caught up in a vandalism charge, who everything was handled. And that was nothing to reflect on her. And now his minions who, this is what's really hilarious, just a little side caveat, is there's a group of kind of crackpots who have been complaining about medical waste incinerating facility in Bristol. Mind you, we already have a waste incinerator. We have had it since I was a child. I remember when it was installed and everything, because people were worried about burning garbage and yada yada. But the thing was, everything was shown and how it was done. It's clean handle. It's so that we don't have landfill. And a company moved in who burns low grade medical waste that is not harmful. Like I've talked to doctors about this stuff, but it's like these tinfoil hat people that are like, they're burning things and it goes in the air and it gives us all cancer and hepatitis and AIDS. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And mind you, they've been doing it for a few years now and no one's gotten sick. More people get sick just from the smell from the water treatment plant in town, because on a hot day, you can smell it like a mile out. It's fucking bad. It sucks, but I mean, that's just the way it was. But the past few years, they've been on, these people have been after old Jeff about it. And why haven't you come out against this? And why did you renew their contract? And blah, blah, blah. And he wouldn't answer anything. The moment that Ellen announced that she was running again, boom, flip the script. Here's the page that was attacking me and my people and shit before, doing those shitty AI videos, doing more AI videos, basically saying, oh yeah, by the way, it was Ellen that approved them to come into town, so you got to blame them. Jeff has nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do with it. This was the previous administration, even though I've been in office for X amount of years and could have stopped this if I wanted. It's all the previous administration's fault. It's not mine. Where does that sound familiar? Oh, yeah. Orange Goblin. Yeah. Isn't that always the case? Everything takes credit for all the shit, all the growth in the city that was approved under the previous administration. But when something is bad going, it was either, no, the previous administration did that, not me, or that was already set in motion by the previous administration. I couldn't change it. Even though his first order of business after shooting down Pride was shooting down the Wheeler Clinic deal, which was causing uproar, and then he just went, oh, never mind, yeah, still do it, just move it a little bit up the street, and all of a sudden it's a new project and I did it. No, you fucking didn't. You axed the fucking deal, and then when you caught backlash for it, all you did was say, okay, let's still do it, and then you took fucking you took credit for it. That's not how this fucking works, asshole. You don't get to have it both ways, where you get to blame everyone else for your shortcomings. Because y'all know we got a segment on this show. I mean, we got a segment on this channel, and it just happened to be most of this show. And just final pin on it is, sorry, I didn't play the right thing. This is what I meant to say. Listen here, bitch. You don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to take credit for everyone else's shit, but then if something goes wrong, blame everyone else for it. Everyone knows you're a fucking asshole. Nobody in City Hall likes you. The only reason you won the first time was because of your MAGA-tarded bullshit, which is hilarious now, because when he wasn't in office, you told everyone, oh no, I really didn't like Trump. I really bullshit. You were handing out MAGA signs. There's photos. There's updates. There's text messages, motherfucker. Paper trail. Then the second he's back in office, yay, we don't have to do DEI. Let's make all these shitty AI videos talking about fucking tampons in schools and teaching kids about fucking drag queens, blah, blah, blah. Fucking just go dehumanizing everyone because you're a piece of shit. I can't stand this asshole, and I want him fucking gone. And I am not the only person. He got in office by a razor thin margin, both elections. Razor thin. Less than 1,000 votes in a city of 70,000 voters, I believe. Razor fucking thin. Y'all know what I'm going to say. It may be Friday where you are when you're watching this. It may be Saturday, maybe Sunday, no matter what day it is.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
It's garbage day. It's time to take out the trash. And this motherfucker is trash. Everyone knows it. So come November, he needs to be gone. So, if you are a resident of Connecticut, if you're a resident of Bristol, thank you. If you're a resident of Connecticut, thank you. Even if you're not. If you are an advocate of calling out bigoted assholes, I suggest you go and you follow the Mayor's Office of Bristol, Connecticut Facebook page, since they think that everything revolves around Facebook, even though it does not. And every post that asshole makes this month, drop some pride flag emojis in the comments. He fucking hates it. He hates it to no fucking end. He loses his shit. The more you do it, the more unhinged he becomes. And he's already been caught throwing tantrums at several city council meetings. The more he does it, the more it proves he's unfit for his job and shouldn't be there. So by the time election day comes, we get him out. I said to someone, I have 2 goals this year. My garden and making sure this asshole's out of office come November. Come Thanksgiving, I want a full root cellar and someone else in City Hall. It's not that hard to work on if we all do the right thing. We all see how much of a shit show it is in DC right now. And we know it's trickling down because a lot of people think they have carte blanche to be fucking racists and homophobes and transphobes and outright bigots. And it needs to fucking stop. So join me if you will. If not, that's fine. I'm not going to beg, but if you believe in human rights, join me. Have some fun. Watch an idiot become unhinged. See what instant karma does. Thank you for joining in me and my catharsis. I know usually I'm a lot more loud and animated, but well, you know, it's late. Wifey's asleep. Puppy dog over here came out because he already heard me. So, hey, Titus. Titus, you want a cookie? Cookie? Come here. Come here, cookie. He is so tired. No? You tell him to like and subscribe? Tell him. Like and subscribe. Daddy gives me a cookie. It says it in the YouTube banner. If you're new, please like and subscribe. Catharsis was never made to be weekly or bi-weekly or anything like that. It's a periodic, but we do have a lot of other stuff here on the channel if you may be interested in it. I probably will handle something local as far as elections go at another given time, more detailed, because it's not everything's cut and dry, black and white, one party against another. And plus, maybe, there's other national issues I'd like to speak about at times. I just, like I said, the world's on fire right now, quite literally in some places. So it is what it is. Drop your comments below. If let me know where you found me. If you found me on Reddit, you found me on Blue Sky, Twitter, whatever. Let me know how you found this. Let me know if someone shared this with you. Let me know your opinions, whether you agree or not. Open forum. By all means. If you're in Connecticut, especially Central Connecticut, look for me at Middletown Pride on Saturday, June 7th. But that's all I got. It's late. It's not late when you're watching this, but it's late for me right now. I got to get up in the morning and go swim. I get my cardio in. Thank you for joining me in my catharsis. Once again, my name is Joseph J. Alexander. Socials are down there. Also linked down below, as well as that article I said I would share. I'll share the other news articles as well. Oh, look who came to join me. You going to tell him once again? Come on, up. Up. He doesn't want to hop up. He just wants a cookie. He just wants a cookie. Thank you for joining me in my catharsis. Like and subscribe. I know I've said that several times. But we're out of here.
It's the calm's gonna get you. Gonna knock you around the head. Better get yourself together.